Hey, good looking. I'm so glad that you came to my kitchen today to sit there and see what we all have cooking. Grab a hold of that vine, swing right on in my kitchen, and let's get cooking. Good looking. Hey there, good looking. I'm so glad that you came to my kitchen for another canning session because we're going to be canning up braised pork in a sweet soy sauce. So we're gonna jump right into the recipe and get canning. I have a saucepan right here. Into the saucepan I'm gonna be adding half a cup of soy sauce, we're gonna be adding 4 tablespoons sugar, a tablespoon of the dried minced onion. We're going to be adding 1 tablespoon of the sweet chili sauce. I have to grab a spoon. Let's just put that over there. And let's add our sweet chili sauce. Then we're going to be adding, what was it? I believe a teaspoon of your sesame oil. Now be real careful, you can overdo it on the sesame oil. So be light-handed with the sesame oil. And then we're gonna be adding 1 teaspoon of ground ginger and 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. And then let me get rid of my mess here. Oh yeah, we have to add 1.5 cups of water to this. But what I have here is cut up pork shoulder roast. So I said you want to add 1.5 cups of water. So there is a half a cup. There's a cup. Just go ahead, give all this a good mix. Take it over to the stove and bring it up to a simmer until all the sugar is dissolved. So off to the stove. It goes, and we'll be back as soon as all the sugar is dissolved. While our sweet soy sauce is over on the stove, coming up to a simmer, and we're dissolving all the sugar, we're gonna sit there, grab a clean, sterilized quart jar. I'm gonna sit there and put all my cubed up pork shoulder roast, and we're just gonna loosely pack it into the quart jar, and then when the sauce is all ready, we're gonna be putting the sauce in with our cubed up pork shoulder roast. So let's go ahead. And this is about 1 to 2 pounds. Okay, my sweet soy sauce has dissolved all the sugar. It didn't quite come up to a simmer. I say it's below a simmer. Now, I'm just gonna let this cool just slightly, and then we're gonna add it to all of our pork shoulder roast that's in our canning jar. Okay, I'm gonna give my sauce a stir. And let's just pour it. And try not to make a mess like I am. And right now, I'm just going along and I'm running my debubbler. And we have too much. So I'm gonna have to sit there and get another canning jar out. Okay, we got it transferred over to another jar. Now, just go along, debubble each jar, and take your time when we're debubbling. And we want about 1.5 to 1 inch headspace. So I'm gonna sit there and make sure I give it a good debubbling. Okay. I'm gonna grab a piece of paper toweling. I'm gonna dip it into some vinegar. And now we're gonna run it across the rim of our canning jars, just in case you might have got any of the meat juices or any of that sweet soy sauce along. And you're going to want to make sure you get it all. So I go across it a few times. Now grab yourself canning lids, put your canning lids on, grab your canning rings. Now we're going to finger tighten these on. Okay, now that we have our canning rings all placed on, these are going to be placed into a pressure cooker. Now, I have 2 different size canning jars. Well, if I canned all of mine into the pint jars, we would have to sit there and pressure can them for 75 minutes. And in my area, it would be 10 pounds of pressure but be sure to check out what altitude that you live at and can at your proper weight gauge that you should be canning in your area. Like I said, where I live, it's 10 pounds of pressure. Now, the quart jar would be processed for 90 minutes. 90 minutes, 75 minutes. And there's one thing I like to do before I put these in the pressure canner. I like labeling the lids, putting the name of what's inside the jar. That way it's just one less process that I have to do, and all that's left for me basically to do is to take them out after they're done processing, let them sit for the 24 hours, come back, remove the rings, check to make sure they sealed, and then I just take them and I give the jars a washing and off to the canning shelves they go. So I'm gonna grab my trusty Sharpie and we're gonna label these braised pork in sweet soy sauce. So processed for 75 minutes, quarts 90 minutes. As you see, I labeled mine, and lucky for me, I got 2 different canners going at once, and this one's gonna be processed with all the other meats that I canned up in the pint-sized jars, and this one's going in with the other jars of meat that I have canned up, and they all get processed at the 90 minutes if it's quart size, 75 minutes if it's a pint size. We'll see you when I'm... Oh yeah, now when I put these in the pressure canners, we're gonna have to let the pressure canner vent for 10 minutes. Then we put the weight on, and then we bring it all up to pressure, and then as soon as it's up to pressure, that's when you start the timing process of 75 minutes or the 90 minutes. Remember, quarts 90, pints 75. If you liked what you saw here today, please give me a thumbs up. If you're not yet a subscriber, go up, hit that subscribe button, tap that little bell. That way you'll always be notified every time I put out a new video. And as always, here's to happy canning, but better yet, happy eatins'. Y'all have a great day now.